My name is Elizabeth Shank. I have been pursuing the Leadership Certificate in order to better myself as a leader and learn how to better interact with other leaders as well as people whom I lead. The journey toward the Leadership Certificate began for me a little over a year ago when I heard about the Aztec Core Retreat. While researching the retreat, I saw that it fulfilled one of the requirements for the Leadership Certificate and decided that it was something I would like to achieve. At that time, the certificate had only been given out once, and I knew it was something I would like to be a part of in its beginning years. After researching it, I found it would be something that would benefit me and teach me the traits of leadership. In the next few weeks, I will be graduating with a bachelor's degree in business administration, specializing in management. As I near completion of my time here at San Diego State, I would like to go over a few of the specific things I learned while on this campus, and the impact it has made on me as an overall person and ultimately as a leader. In this video, I will review my definition of leadership and the fundamental beliefs that it was shaped by. I will then discuss some of my leadership background, starting in high school and leading into college. I will also refer to the experiential leadership, workshop, service, and the leadership role I completed during the course of fulfilling the Leadership Certificate. I believe leadership is the culmination of knowing oneself and the ability to make an impact on others sufficient for them to believe in what you represent strongly enough to strive for the same outcome. To be an effective leader not only requires knowing yourself, but also knowing the people which you are leading. To be an outstanding leader requires selflessness and utmost respect for those being led. My definition loosely rests upon the be, know, do model and the relational model. I concentrated mostly on the understanding aspect of leadership, and relational leadership can be seen as a foundation, since it is the relational process of people together attempting to accomplish change, and it finds that relationships are key to leadership effectiveness. The Be, Know, Do model, which is the model of leadership development in the Army, is also interwoven because it is not just from the traditional skills perspective of leadership, but is from a whole person perspective, which includes a person's values, attributes, and actions. One can learn to be an effective leader through understanding themselves and those around them, but I believe a person must choose to use their leadership in a positive and selfless way. To better the lives of those I lead is a very important goal of mine. I believe a leader must care for the individuals they lead, or they cannot be considered a positive leader. My background in leadership culminated in high school, where I joined volleyball, worked my way up our student government, and started a junior State of America chapter. I learned that you have to consider the needs and wants of others when making decisions, but cannot base decisions based upon a minority group of those you lead. I came to SDSU in the fall of 2011, and I knew that I wanted to continue involvement in clubs and organizations in order to keep the connections I felt while in my small high school. I got involved on campus by joining my sorority Kappa Delta, where I took on the role of leadership chair and became involved with our community service aspect of our organization. I joined Golden Key International Honor Society and became the treasurer and most recently the president of Phi Eta Sigma Honor Society. In my management courses, I have learned many good leadership theories and tactics. One class in particular was Leadership in Organizations, led by Tita Gray, which took our class through strategies of leadership and how to manage organizations effectively. I was able to get involved off of campus as well throughout the past year, as I was chosen as ambassador of my city through my title of Miss Santee 2014. Through that role, I learned to be a leader by representation and a role model for the younger girls in the program. I also learned how to speak better in front of large groups. I acquired an internship that turned into a full-time offer following graduation at the Santee Chamber of Commerce. There I will act as the membership director, managing businesses' membership benefits at the Chamber. While I have worked at the Chamber thus far, I have noticed the leadership roles that individuals take within our organization and how each individual leads in their own unique way. I have learned which ways are effective, which are ineffective, and which will help me as I continue my work in the organization. The first time I was walked through the values workshop was at Aztec Core, and at that time I put a lot of emphasis on what I thought my values should be, even though we were instructed not to do that. I found myself wondering what others would think of my values, and chose more for the outside viewer than for myself, which is why when I took the workshop recently, I made sure to choose things I really valued, and words that meant more to me than just one specific definition. My top 5 values are love, happiness, wisdom, achievement, and adventure. I feel as if with many of these words I can achieve much more than the word itself, and make my own meaning of it. Even more importantly, I found that values can change. Just because something was at one point on your list does not hinder it from moving in either direction through time and experiences. My true color is gold, but followed very closely by green. Of course, as with all people, I am composed of all of the colors in one way or another, but those two colors describe me the best and make up the largest segment of my personality. In teams, I work best when lines are clearly drawn as to an individual's tasks, and when I can be myself with the team. As my green side shows, I enjoy having fun while working in groups, but the gold side of me also desires work to get accomplished well and in a timely manner. My style of conflict was found to be the shark, which was extremely surprising to me because sharks are aggressive and overpowering towards others. After finding out the result, I couldn't believe that that could be me. Ironically enough, my second style was the turtle, which means I stray away from conflict. After examining the results, I found that it is quite true that I am mainly made up of those conflict styles, and it depends on the situation. In many cases, I do not like to be wrong and will defend my stance until the bitter end. However, in other circumstances in which I do not feel strongly about a situation, I will retreat and prefer not to be involved. In the Intro to Leadership Theory workshop, I feel like the relational model resonated most with me, because I felt as if it was an all-encompassing model, incorporating purpose, empowerment, ethical behavior, and inclusiveness, and is what I strive to be like. I also like the Be-No-Do model because of its structure and clear outline of leadership. I feel as if Be-No-Do model molds the individual into a leader, and relational model is better for the established leader's relationships with others. As I mentioned previously, I attended Aztec Core Leadership Retreat, where I got to meet many other students who inspired me to be a better person. I also was introduced to the issue that diversity faced on our campus, and how the cliques and stereotypes were negatively affecting Aztecs as a whole. I learned so much in a short period of time, and was introduced to a plethora of concepts I've referred to ever since. That short trip up the very long, winding mountain road to spend a couple days with a couple buses full of other students made me want to make a difference at SDSU, and changed my perspective in many ways. I also took part in the Aztec Mentor Program, from which I got to meet an incredible man who works in a field I am interested in. I was able to build my networking and gain valuable insights about the field, and how I could best reach my goals of being a part of it. I look back on our conversations often when I'm considering the next step in my career, and I think, is this something Dan and I discussed, and what would Dan do? Also known as WWDD. Community service has always been an integral part of my life. At SDSU, I have been able to volunteer within my sorority to benefit Girl Scouts of America, Prevent Child Abuse America, and other charities that Greek Life has chosen to support throughout my years here. As community service chair in my sorority and serving on the Shamrock 5K committee that raises money to prevent child abuse and provide better foster homes for children, I found great joy in knowing I was making a difference in someone else's life. I took away from the many community service activities that one person can make a difference, but a group working together creates synergy. In my leadership role as president of Phi Eta Sigma, I have learned a lot of valuable lessons. I've learned the importance of communication, the art of damage control, and the skill of planning. I was able to attend our national conference in Charleston, South Carolina, and meet other officers from around the nation. I've been able to plan events and accomplish organizational goals with the help of the officer team. My personal goals set to reach in this role were 1. To hone my time management skills, 2. To exercise and better my public speaking skills, 3. To establish better and meaningful connections with individuals in the space of my leadership role. I believe that I have improved in all of these areas, and while I can always improve in these areas, I feel as if I have been able to make great advancement in time management, public speaking, and establishing connections. My time at SDSU, and especially the time spent in pursuing the leadership certificate, have proved to be a tremendous lesson in leadership for me. Leadership is a trait that can always be bettered, and I plan to continue to do so in my role and my job at the Chamber of Commerce after graduation, and throughout the entirety of my life.